Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of On Notion Page. My name is Sanja Veletanlic. I'm a Notion Solutions Partner and a certified consultant, and this show is almost all about Notion. 2 weeks ago, I hosted a session with two guests where we spoke about Notion templates. Notion templates are definitely a great thing, something to explore, but there are certain problems with Notion templates. But before we go any further, I'd like to ask you, if anyone is watching, please say hello here in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me well. Let me know that everything is working. That will help me a lot to feel a little bit less insecure here in front of the camera. Okay, so Notion templates. One of the main problems with Notion templates from my perspective is that people download or duplicate Notion templates, but they don't understand Notion fundamentals. They see a nice dashboard, they bring it to their workspace, but they don't know how to customize it. And then following things may happen. They will either use something that is not perfectly fit for their needs, but that's not even the biggest problem. Where problems actually come in is when you duplicate multiple templates, and those are probably coming from multiple sources. And then in your own workspace, what you end up with is multiple databases for basically the same thing, because every template is built using multiple databases. So, for example, let's say you're downloading something for project management, and there you might have your projects, you might have your tasks, and then you download something else for event management, and there you will also have tasks. So already you're having two tasks databases, and that doesn't need to be the thing. So today, what we are actually doing is we are talking about Notion fundamentals. We'll be doing that on examples of some of my free templates. So to understand Notion fundamentals, you basically need to understand the core structure. You need to understand when you download some template, what are you looking at? Is it a page? Is it a database? Is it a linked view? So here today, I'll try to explain the difference. Then there are the hidden properties. So what you see is not what you get. You get a lot more. So I'll try to explain how you can uncover anything that is hidden within your template. Then there are also relations and roll-ups. So this will help you understand how things are connected. Formulas as well. You don't have to learn to write your own formulas. You don't have to invest too much time in that, but it would be great if you would understand when you see a formula, what does this formula actually do? And then in the end, there are also automations. So something that is happening without your input actually, or is happening when something is triggered. So we'll try to figure out how to know what is going to happen, even though you're not doing anything at the moment. So let us dive in. But before that, I would just like to share a link to Notion Marketplace. And this is a place where you can actually download or duplicate all of my free templates. So everything that we will be looking at today, you can find on this link, and for free, just duplicate it to your own workspace, and then you can dismantle them on your own. This episode is called the reverse IKEA effect. Now, why is this the reverse IKEA effect? To go back a little bit, the IKEA effect actually means that when you buy some furniture from IKEA, you don't get it all working. You get it in pieces, and then you have to put everything together. This process where you're actually putting your table or your chair together, that makes you appreciate that chair even more. So this is something that makes that chair your own, and you're more attached to it in the end. With systems, you don't have to build everything from scratch. And with templates, you get the whole package. Everything is already put together. But to get the same effect and to actually own it, you have to do the reverse thing. So you're not putting it together, but you are dismantling it. You're dismantling it to understand it, and so you're able to customize it in the future and understand what it actually does. So this is the link to Notion Marketplace. Feel free to go there and duplicate any template you will see coming up. And now, to share my screen, this is our agenda for today. We'll be dismantling 4 different templates. The first one is a template that I've built for in-house trainings and workshops. And this is what it looks like. So you have one dashboard, and in the very beginning, there are some instructions, and then here you have quick links. Here is another view of what is enrolling now and what are the upcoming trainings. So this is something that is designed to help any company who is running some internal trainings and would like to provide some additional knowledge to their employees. Now, the first thing that you will notice here are these quick links. And this is something that is usually confusing. I've been working with different clients, and also I'm sometimes giving one-on-one trainings to people. So this is something that usually confuses people. What are we actually looking at here? Or is this here a database? Is it just a page, or is it a view? Now here, this whole dashboard was built just on one database. And then within this page, so the page is called in-house trainings and workshops. And inside we have just one database. And then this database is displayed in multiple different views. Why? Now, first to explain that, when you have a database, you have basically one vault where you have all kinds of data, and you don't always need to see everything. So in Notion, there's a nice feature that we can present the same data, but in many different ways. So we can use this to look only at what is currently important for us. We don't have to look at the whole database, all the properties. Now, how do you actually know what is it that you're looking at? Is it just the core database, something that's originally built as a database, or is it just some additional view that we are looking at? You can think of those views also as mirror images of the original database. So here, let's have a look at here. This here is an inline database, but how do you actually know this? So here in the right corner, there are the 3 dots. If you click on those 3 dots, now you didn't see this because here is my image covering it. So here it is. So on these 3 dots, when you click on this, what you see here are some of the options. But what is most important for us currently is to just look at the beginning of this menu. So here you see when we clicked, we just see layout option first. We don't see anything else, and I'll show you what I mean by anything else later on. So here we can change the layout and we can display this information as a table view as it is here, or we can choose some other view like a Kanban board, a gallery, or anything else that is available. So here, just remember, it just says layout on the 3 dots. But let's go up and let us go to all trainings. And now here we are in all trainings. And again, we are going in the 3 dots, and now you can see the difference. Here it says source. So this is a key that what we are currently looking at is basically just a mirror image of something that is originally elsewhere. So this is a linked view. The source, it says it's trainings in-house. So we are going back again. And here, another thing that I would like to show you is, so this here is the original database. And if you click on the title here, and you can click on show database title, and then you also see the original title of this database, because up here, the upcoming trainings, this is basically just a title for this current view that we are looking at. So that's it here. Another thing that is important when we are talking about different views, why do we actually build those different views? So as I said, we do it to present the data in a different way. One of the most used features to do that are actually filters. So I will go now in one of the other views. So again, the original database is trainings, and then here are just additional views of the same thing. So if you go here to my enrollments, here you can actually see what is relevant for you. So imagine we are in some big company, 100 plus employees, and if you would have all enrollments listed here for everyone in your company, you would just get lost. So the reason why we are building these views is so that we can filter down the information. And how do we do that? Where do you find the filters? The filters are here in this icon. If you click on it, and then you will either see it here displayed just plain as plain filter, or it will be here as a view. My recommendation is try to read what it says and then figure out why this filter was set as it is. So here in this example, I have used filters to show enrollments. First, anything that is relevant for me. So I don't care at the moment about anyone else's enrollments. And then in the first view, I'm also checking on the status of the training. So is this something that is still available for me to enroll in? So in the first view, the filter is set so that I can check what is still available for me and what could I enroll in. Then the view is showing me all the trainings where I already am enrolled in. So if we check the filter, it looks very similar, but just a little bit different. Here it says filter down on anything where who enrolled contains me. And then who completed does not contain me. Why? Because I just want to see things here, trainings that are still ongoing, that I still didn't finish. And then in the end, we have another filter here. It says who completed contains me. So here I will see all trainings that are relevant for me. So that's it. Here in in-house trainings, I hope that it's clear now. What is a database? What is a view? That you can create different kinds of views. So this here is also another view of the same database. So this is an inline table. This here is a gallery, and these are all like pages, but inside there are tables. So let us move on. We are going to our second template. And the second one is team challenges and innovation. Here, I would like to show you something that people often miss. So they duplicate a template and they see the properties they have here, but they feel like something is missing. And what they do then is they just add a new property. But before you add anything to a template that you haven't built, my suggestion is first check all of the properties and check whether you're missing something here. Before we continue, I'm not alone here. I have a dog that is pretty much spoiled, so I'll just have to pause now for a second to bribe her, basically. And I hope it will be enough to do that just once now. If not, the only thing that I can do is apologize. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, where were we? We were on hidden properties. So, this is a case that I've often see that people add new properties before checking whether there already is a property that does the same thing that they're just adding. So, what I suggest is when you download a template, for each of the databases that you have in your template, I will go here to contributions now, just to show you an example. So you see here contributions, and you see a couple of properties. So properties are these columns. But is this really everything that's inside here? No. So what we can do, we can create one new view where we will show all the properties that are currently in this database. So here, under contributions, next to the title of the view, you have this plus icon. If you click on this plus icon, you can add a new view to this database. And I suggest you start with an empty view and make it a table view, because in my experience, this is something that is usually that usually works the best. And now I have a problem because the screen that I'm sharing here is preventing me from seeing the whole thing. Let me just go here. That's the joy of doing things live. So while I fiddle here, okay, now everything is blocked on my screen. I can't click on anything. I think my resources are fully. Let me try to refresh here. Okay, I'll need to stop sharing this if I can. I guess I can't. Okay, now I'm all red. Let us try again. Let us try again. I don't want to give up just yet. If anyone is watching, at least say hi. Okay, let us go here. Okay, almost there. Okay, we are back. Yay. Okay, so what I've done here is next to the view that was already there, I created one additional view. One additional view, and here, next thing, what we will do is we will unhide all the properties that are available. Here, click on the three dots. Next, go to the properties, and then the easiest way to do it is just click on Show All. Now you can see in your table view all of the properties that are actually available in this database. Now here there is really a lot. I won't explain every property what it does here in this database, but it's important for you to know that you can actually uncover this, that you can display everything. And my advice is when you are building when you're using someone else's template, do this. Figure out what it is that is inside, and then you will be able to understand better what this template actually does and how it works. So these are all the properties here. And next, what I will just show is I'll just show you one property here that you see, and this is the formula property. So formulas, as said, as an end user, you really don't have to understand formulas in depth. You don't have to know how to write your own formulas if that is not something that you're into, if you don't want to spend time learning that. But it would be great if when you have some formula already built in your system to understand what this formula actually does. So what we can do every time is we can go to edit property and you can click on edit formula. Then I suggest you just try reading what it says here. It will be confusing at first, but maybe another tip would be try to copy it, paste it to your chat GPT or any other AI tool and ask AI, please explain to me what does this formula actually do. And you can also screenshot all the properties. You can do that. So before you can create a screenshot here or copy paste the formula, and you can also create a screenshot of all the available properties in this database and ask AI to explain to you what this formula actually does. Then you will be able to understand how your template works, at least in this area. Okay, so these were the formulas here and the hidden properties. Going back now to another template. So this is now the time tracking with a built-in timer. Here, one of the most important features of this template is basically a simple relation between two databases. So what is a relation? Relation is basically a connection between two databases. When does it make sense to create such a relation? Whenever, for example, just a second, sorry, Ella, ne sad. Na krevetić lezi, nema sad više ništa. Nema ništa. This was a little bit of creation for anyone who doesn't understand it, trying to convince my dog to go sit and sleep. Hopefully it worked. Okay, so relations in Notion. When you have, for example, projects and tasks, it is important that you create a link between your tasks and projects so that when you're reviewing a project, you know how many tasks are currently in progress for this project and you have everything in one place. Also, for example, in CRM, when you're having a list of your companies, a database with your companies, your partners, and then you also have a database for all your contacts. It makes sense to connect them so you know in this company I have 3 contacts that are connected to this company. And in the current example, this is a time tracker, and here we have tasks and we have time entries. So basically what it does is it connects our time entries with our tasks. So we have a task, but for each of the tasks, we have multiple time entries. So we start working on something in the morning, but we don't finish the task. We just finished one part of it. And then we have a time entry for that part. And then we start working on it again in the afternoon, maybe, or tomorrow. And that's a different time entry. So here we currently have a timer running, so I will stop that one. How do you know, how can you figure out what your database is related to? So again, on the 3 dots, and here you will always find a lot of information about your databases. And again, you can go to properties, and then you will need to check first. This is a sign. When you see this arrow going from up to the top right corner, this is the sign that this is the relation. But don't be fooled, because we can change that icon. So it's not the only, it's an indication, but it's not a foolproof sign that this actually is a relation. The only way actually would be to click on each of those properties and to see what type it is. So you already from the name kind of can tell what could be a relation and what not. So status is basically never a relation. Assigned to, also these are person properties. Dates are also not relations. But something that has the name, like some other database, that could be a relation. So this here is a relation to time entries in our tasks. And then why do we actually use this? Not only to connect our tasks to time entries, but also to pull some data from one database to the other. In this exact example, what we are doing is we are focused on time and how much time is actually spent. And then there is a second option. So relation is like the original link between 2 databases. And then we also have a roll-up. A roll-up is a feature when you already have set that relation. Through that link, we can pull some of the data from one database to the other database. So here in this example, what we are actually doing with a rollup, we are pulling total time, and I'll just open one task here. And we have here total minutes. If you go to edit property, you can see that this is a type of rollup. So if you see a rollup in some of your templates, this is basically saying this is data that is coming from somewhere else, from a different database. And this is something that you can't edit here. So I can't change here total minutes. I can't write down 100 here because this is being actually tracked somewhere else. So once again, two databases are connected originally with a relation. That's the original link. And then a rollup is like an additional feature that allows us to pull parts of data from one database to the other. So if your database has multiple properties, through a rollup, you can pull data from any of those properties to a different database. And I think this here is really a nice example how you can actually use this in tracking time, because here the total time makes much more sense to know how much time was spent on a task than just to view each of those time entries. So this time entry was 200 minutes, obviously too much, but this was 10 minutes, this was 2, 1. So this doesn't give you the information back basically that you need. This is just data that is needed to actually produce information, and this information here is produced by creating that relation between two databases, and then through a rollup actually pulling data and making that data make some sense. Okay, so those were the relations and rollups. And for our last template here, I would just like to show you the two-way database sync template. My suggestion is for this one, just go to Notion Marketplace, to the link that I shared before, and just duplicate it, because the easiest way to understand it is just to go over here just to go over the instructions that I already prepared here. So here in this example, but you won't find this every time. In this example, I added instructions on how to create just the exact same automation that is already running in this database. So step by step, you have everything explained here. But when you don't have that, and you have some kind of information, some kind of automation within your databases, then the best way to do is actually to just click on the automation and check what does it actually do. Because in my opinion, you have to understand what is going on in the background before you can actually use something. So here in these master tasks, what actually happens here is whenever something is added to either marketing tasks or sales tasks, a new page is created in master tasks, and that's a duplicate page, like a mirror image again, and then this is synced so somebody can have access to multiple databases in one view, basically. So here, this icon, this lightning bolt, if you click on it and click on the automation itself, just open it and try to read through it. So first, you need to check, is your automation active or not? Next thing that is important check where does this automation actually runs. So here, this one, it's created for all pages in master tasks. And then the next thing is the trigger. So what actually triggers this automation? Here, there are multiple triggers. So either when status is edited, or date, or assigned to, or name. So these properties, whenever something is edited here, automation is triggered. But what happens then? What does the automation actually do? Here, in this case, it searches for a related task in a different database, and then it updates the name, the date, or the assigned to property. So this is in this case. Let me just go back to show you some of the other automations that are pre-built here in Team Challenges. In Team Challenges, we have, here we have one automation that checks every day. It's triggered daily, and then checks the dates and automatically updates status based on dates. So you don't have to worry, did I change the status on this on time? If you have set the date, if the automation is running, this will be done automatically here. And then what else? There are also buttons. So here, for example, I'll just show you here in another template. So this is a company scorecard with yearly goals and weekly measurables. So these here first are set yearly goals. But then this is something that needs to be tracked on a weekly basis. So for each of those goals, we have to add new data, new score for the current week. And how do we actually do this? We just click here on the button and we add the number for this week for this goal. Before you actually click on it and start using it, just open it and try to figure out what this actually does. So this here, when you click on it, this will add a new page to our weekly measurables, so a different database. Then it will update some of the properties by default. So who will be whoever clicked, date will automatically be added as the same date that's when you actually clicked on it, and it will be related to the yearly goal. And it will also open the page so you can enter your score. Okay, so with all the technical problems that I had, and with the dog being more manipulative than usual, I hope this was anyway a little bit helpful for anyone who is new to Notion, who has downloaded maybe many templates but is unsure of how to figure out what's actually inside of them. So once again, first try to figure out what you're currently looking at. Is it a page? Is it a database? Or is it a linked view? Then unhide all the properties, check the relations and roll-ups, go check out formulas, and go explore the automations. You don't have to understand absolutely everything that you see. You don't have to know how to set up your own automations. You don't have to know how to set up your own formulas, but just by looking at them, or maybe asking AI for some help, you will be able to understand much better what it is you're currently working with. And in my opinion, when people understand the system that they are working in, then the work is also better, it's more enjoyable, and it's smarter. You don't create some duplicates, you have data that actually in the end works for you and not vice versa. So that's it from me for today. As said, you can download all of the shown templates on Notion Marketplace. They are free. This here is the link where you can find them. If you have any questions or you need some additional help, just let me know. You can either send me a message on LinkedIn or go to my website and find the contact form there. Also, I'm doing one-on-one trainings for anyone who is a little bit stuck with Notion. I've had clients call me and say that they fell into a rabbit hole. They don't know how to get out. So if that's something that would be good for you, also reach out and we will make some appointments for your personal training. Thank you for watching, and I hope you will enjoy Notion and templates a little bit more after this. Thank you and goodbye.